I hate filming shit. I should have just done a fucking podcast. This looks like a mess. Okay, let's take this off. This is a serious video. Let's get serious. Okay, today we are talking about the songs in different national finals across Europe that I believe have the best potential to make their countries proud at Eurovision. It's basically just the songs that I think are the smartest choices for countries to select in their national final to do the best that they can at Eurovision. Now, my one claim to fame in life, the one thing that they could put on my tombstone when I die, is the fact that from 2021 to 2025, I accurately predicted the Eurovision winners either on this channel or on my TikTok, mostly on my TikTok.
Last year I made a video predicting which countries would come in the top 5 at Eurovision and was 5 for 5, so let's see if I have the same luck this year. So let's get the most obvious out of the way. Sweden and Finland are definitely coming in the top 5, and I'm pretty sure Sweden's gonna take the crown. I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but here's why I struggle to see Croatia winning Eurovision despite them being first in the odds to win. Which country is gonna win Eurovision? I'm making this video to react to after Eurovision to see if I end up getting it right, but I strongly believe that it's gonna be Switzerland. I predicted the winner for the Eurovision Song Contest correctly for 5 years in a row. This year, I know I'm gonna get it wrong. It's the most difficult year, in my opinion, to predict, but this is my best guess. Sweden has a huge lead, but I don't see Sweden winning. I really see a path towards victory for maybe Austria. And so as a result, I feel like I'm somewhat qualified to give my 2 cents in terms of what songs I believe are the smartest songs for countries to select to end up going to Eurovision. And that's what this video is. We don't know the stagings yet. We don't know how well the live vocals will be. We don't have that information, but just purely by the studio version, this is my perspective. Anything can change. Let's be real. The song itself is like 50% at the end of the day of the equation, and the other 50% is the staging. I always bring up this example, Zero Gravity. That was not like a song people were like loving, but it ended up winning that semifinal and it ended up coming like, what, 9th, 8th at Eurovision? Wasn't the best song, but like, whoa, that staging was. So without further ado, let's get into it. I forgot. Actually, let's not get into it. First things first, make sure to like the video, click subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and comment your thoughts also in terms of who you think are the best choices for the different countries that have national finals and what they should send to Eurovision. Let's get into it. Okay, let's get into Denmark. So last year we got Hallucination from Cecil, and this year she's putting her hat back in the ring with Infinity. And to me, I mean, maybe controversial here, but this song is leaps and bounds ahead of anything else in this national final. Leaps and bounds ahead of Hallucination. Hallucination was great, and I did love it, but Infinity slaps 10 times harder. So much so that I'm bruised all over my body because I can't stop listening to this masterpiece. Like, I'm gonna have to file an assault claim against Cecil. And I've seen other creators say a similar thing about this song, but it's really crazy because I agree that, you know, despite being an upbeat, fast-paced pop song, for some reason, it still manages to catch you deeply in your feels. Like, I mean, like, on the verge of tears. Like, I saw Noosh 101's video on this, shout out to Noosh 101, and she compared this song to that song from back in the day called Heaven. In that, that could not be more true. It's like this fast-paced song, but for some reason you feel so emotional, and it doesn't even really make sense. They've managed to strategically use just the right atmospheric synth sounds inside a formulaic melody that evokes a somber emotion, despite the tempo being, you know, the same as songs that are really upbeat and fun, like So What by Pink, or I Love It by Charlie XCX, Evacuate the Dance Floor by Cascada, We Found Love by Rihanna. But for some reason, this one just hits like differently. And then you pair those synth sounds with an expressive and emotive vocal that, you know, it's truly just out of this world. And yeah, this could do really big things for Denmark in my opinion. The only thing is that it's Denmark, a country that is one of the worst when it comes to staging. And this song demands an expensive, classy, artistic vision brought to life. Not a girl in a shiny blue bodysuit with flailing dancers surrounding her. If they could figure their shit out, this actually has a lot of potential for a country that, you know, over the years has struggled at Eurovision. But yeah, we'll have to see. Let's get into Estonia. Ollie is back for his 100th attempt in Estonia's national final, and folks, this has to be the one. This has to be the one that goes to Eurovision. Estonia has been edging this man for far too long, and this is his best song yet. Nothing about this song is subtle. First off, Ollie's delivery is a masterclass in emotional intensity. It shifts from passionate singing to those gut-wrenching screams that just rip you in half. And Sean, that was a lot. That was a lot, but it does.
His voice is like the most perfect rock voice with this gravelly tone that I'm just obsessed with. If I tried to impersonate his voice, if I tried to sing this song, I'd be coughing up blood. Well, gee, what the fuck? Why am I so graphic right now? But I would. This song also isn't just your everyday run-of-the-mill rock song either. It's kind of giving like early 2000s alternative rock, but with a modern polish that we don't hear that often today. Kind of like how The Weeknd made the 80s electronic pop sound modernized, this is what Ollie is basically doing with the early 2000s rock music that we heard from back in the day. It's this full throttle, high energy sound that it has this relentless energy that just shakes your insides with every instrument doing the absolute most. There's also a dynamism too, with the verses being quite minimalistic and a bridge that's softer and more tender.
All of the things that you do made me.
And then an ending with screams and an instrumentation that can easily be a moment on the Eurovision stage. Kind of like how it was for Sam Smith. No, Sam Smith? Sam, what the fuck is his name? What the fuck is his name? Sam Ryder. Holy shit, I had a fucking mental lapse there. Sam Ryder. You know, with his electronic guitar solo when he came second with Spaceman. This is a temper tantrum in musical form about how love can be so powerful that it becomes crippling. And every aspect of this sonically just immerses you in, you know, what that experience is like for the singer. And so for me, this is the clear choice. Estonia, don't hurt this man again. This man, all he wants to do is go to Eurovision once. And he's tried so hard for so long. People from Estonia are gonna think that this man paid me to say all this shit. I just like him, and I like the song. It's also not even my favorite genre. Like, that says something. When it's not your favorite genre and you like the song, like, that speaks volumes about the quality of the song. Anyway, Finland. Finland, you are killing me. You are killing me this year. How do I even begin this? Okay, let's talk. This next song from Finland has all of the ingredients necessary. All of the ingredients necessary to make a Eurovision winner. If there is any song on this list that can actually take home the crown at the moment without considering the staging and the live vocals and with that, this is the one. I truly think this could win Europe. Wait till March until all the songs are released, and then I'll come up with that official, you know, announcement about what I think could actually win the contest. But right now, this is doing good. This is doing good in my book. This straddles the line perfectly of having, you know, immense potential to appeal to both the televote and the juries in the contest. Firstly, he's got an unreal voice that is complemented so well by the violinist that screams and soars with equal fervor and adds to the emotional intensity of this piece. I'm obviously, you can see, I'm literally like, I'm on the edge of my seat. I love talking about this song. I love listening to the song. I love showing people the song. I love this song. And speaking of that emotional intensity of this piece, that is the song's strength. It is so dramatic. It is so grandiose that it's verging on comedic until you realize that this shit is no joke, because the production is slick as hell. The talent is impossible to ignore, and Finland's not here to play. They have not been here to play. I mean, they've been giving us quality after quality. They've been hungry for a win for years, and at this point, they are starving and willing to devour whatever competition comes in their way. Let's talk about the music. So the violinist solo can easily be a massive moment from a staging perspective, with people glued to their screens and on the edge of their seat. Because this isn't just some catchy violin hook that gets stuck in your head like what we got with Fairy Tale. This is some over-the-top, theatrical, world-class melody being played by a decorated prodigy who grabs your attention and puts it in a chokehold. The song also blends classical elements with a modern production and adds little flourishes here and there, which almost make it feel like the song is from 2046 instead of 2026. The song finishes in a really memorable way, with his voice climbing higher and higher while the music builds underneath it, both rising together in pitch and intensity for a really powerful climax that is so explosive and so sky high that it sears itself into the memory of every single person who eventually needs to vote. And let me tell you, they will remember this one and they will vote. This gives me the same feels that I got with the last 2 years, JJ and Nemo in particular, where I was extremely confident when those songs came out that they had something special. And this has that same quality. Finland, if you don't choose this, yeah, we'll see. I'm so nervous. Guys, I'm so fucking nervous. This has to do it. I've never felt this intense about a song, actually, since last year. You know what? I feel this way every single year. Eurovision brings out the worst. Let's move on. Lithuania. I love nothing more than when a country puts their culture, their heritage, and their language on full display, and my top choice for Lithuania is exactly doing that. This is the most Lithuanian piece of Lithuania that Lithuania has ever Lithuanian. No, but seriously, if this wins and goes to represent the country in Austria, it will be the most authentically Lithuanian song the country has ever sent to the Eurovision stage. Take a shot every time I say Lithuania. And more at Eurovision, we're actually seeing these entries that rely heavily on cultural elements succeed at Eurovision, like Goe, Shkodra Elektronik, what's that Armenian? I never know how to pronounce it. That Armenian one from a couple years ago. Ladvania. First, let's talk about the woman. The woman's voices are doing, fuck, I don't know how to pronounce this. Sutartines? I don't know how to pronounce anything. Just a dumb English-speaking monolinguist. Yeah, Sutartines, we'll call it. Which is a polyphonic style that is so precious that it's actually on the UNESCO representative list of intangible cultural heritage. In other words, we're watching a literal national treasure unfold before our eyes. And they do it in this pitch perfect, hauntingly beautiful way that just has me completely hypnotized. And speaking of being hypnotized, the instruments are front and center. You've got the, damn, I don't know how to pronounce shit. I'm gonna call the cankles and the burbine. I'm sorry. But yeah, these are traditional folk instruments that should on paper have nothing to do with a heavy bass line. But here they blend the ancient cultural history of the Baltics with modern rap so seamlessly, it makes you wonder why we haven't heard this more often at Eurovision, or at all. It's a massive risk that pays off because it's not just your everyday cultural reset, it's daring and deeply innovative. But what really gets me are these lyrics. In a moment of global chaos, this song is incredibly poignant, and the title translates to burning earth. At one point in the song, the lyrics are, "Everyone is watching on their screens while millions are dying. This is for all my brothers who don't give up until the end. And we're always ready and waiting for the signal to go into the ring with those that wish us no good." Hard to say what this song is about specifically, but considering that Lithuania is one of Ukraine's most staunch allies, it's likely about that war, which makes it hold even more weight and meaning. Overall, the rapper is a really confident performer with unreal stage presence, and the song is, I mean, it's high stakes, high emotion, and really exactly what Eurovision needs. Norway has, pains me to say, Norway has one of the weakest national finals in years, and there's nothing here that I can say with confidence will definitely go straight to the Eurovision final. However, the strongest entries are Emma's Northern Lights,
Take me to the mountains high where the fairies fly. I belong to the northern lights.
Fun fact, she's, I think, Marcus and Martinez's sister, everyone was saying online. I don't know if that's true. Fact check that. And Emilio with Frankenstein.
Frankenstein. 'Cause stitch by stitch to every limb, every inch. Frankenstein at your brain, at your mind.
Overall, I guess I'll go with Emilio. Yeah, let's go with Frankenstein. Listen, this song is super duper uber catchy. The post-chorus, the Frankenstein out your brain, out your mind, that's an earworm. The only thing is, although it is catchy as hell, it's kind of your everyday generic radio-friendly song. It's not breaking the mold, pushing boundaries, or doing anything that's super experimental whatsoever. And, you know, with Eurovision, the worst thing to be is safe. With that being said, these have to be some of the most, you know, interesting, well thought out lyrics, not only in this national final, but amongst the songs in this video. The song uses Frankenstein as a metaphor for having your identity reshaped by someone else until you don't even recognize yourself. You don't even know who you are. In the novel Frankenstein, a doctor stitches a being together, brings it to life, and then rejects it. And the song kind of mirrors this experience, not physically necessarily, but emotionally. The singer feels rebuilt or changed by another person who ended up then rejecting them and also blame them for who they've become, which leaves them feeling a little disconnected and alienated. A little, I mean, a lot. So I'm apprehensive about how well this could do, but there's good stage potential. The song is catchy at the end of the day, and you know, the concept is definitely memorable. So yeah, there's some things going for there's some things going for there. Croatia's actually in a better place right now than most countries heading into Europe. They've got a few solid contenders that could probably just sleepwalk into the grand final, but then there is Dora by Ananda, which is something else entirely.
I know that you know her name is
This song is cinematic, it's expensive, and arguably one of the most intelligent pieces of music I've heard from a Croatian selection in years. First off, let's talk about the songwriting, because one of the listed songwriters, and I'm not joking about this, one of the listed songwriters is a legitimate ghost. Okay, like not really, like one of the credit goes to Dora Pejacevic. Yeah, her name was Dora, and she's Croatia's most famous historical female composer. Ananda isn't just singing a sad ballad here, she's conducting a full-blown seance. The song is about the crushing burden of legacy, because the singer Ananda, a struggling artist, is asking Dora if the blood, sweat, and tears of fighting to be heard in a 19th century man's world was actually worth it. We're talking lyrics that translate to, Dora, here I stand before you, bruised and broken, I'm coming to you from the sea, from blood and sweat. It's emotionally raw as the production here is also really high gloss. They used orchestral arrangements by the Collegium Musicum Berlin, giving it an intensely textured and cinematic weight that MIDI strings could simply never they wouldn't be able to replicate. We're also looking at like 10 to 12 layers of vocal harmonies, which creates this literal wall of sound that physically just pushes you from one side of the room to the other. It's aggressive, and I mean, yeah, sign me up, pull my hair, choke me, I love it. Her vocals are also rich and powerful, but they're not like super glossy and over polished. There's this raw, almost feral energy to her delivery, which makes sense because, again, you know, she's basically begging for career advice from a dead historical figure. This isn't your Disney princess on a mission with a pure vocal about an innocent storyline. This is some desperate bitch asking for career advice from a corpse. Finally, the song actually has a brain. It shows structural intelligence by starting with a minimalistic, haunting verse that builds into a chorus that just, it vocally smacks you around. It hits you like a freight train. And that post-chorus melody is the icing on top. The production then takes these wild dynamic shifts throughout the rest of the song, making contrast the name of the game here, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat begging for more. She may be desperate for answers in the song, but I'm desperate for her to go back in the studio and extend this gem beyond 3 minutes because it is a masterpiece. Out of all the contenders on this list, Greece has the strongest selection of songs, I think. Which makes this a toughie. Desi G has a catchy summer bop. That Evangelista, that person, an extremely current, radio-friendly, and authentically Greek sound going for her. Good Job Nikki is a really impressive Greek version of The Weeknd. Marceau, they have this hypnotic club anthem that could easily be a hit. But at the end of the day, I mean, there's gonna be no shock to everyone who is in the Eurovision fandom and deep in it, because we know this song at this point. It's got over 2 million views on YouTube. And yeah, nothing can strip the momentum off of Achilles and his captivatingly bizarre entry, Ferto. Like Finland, this entry has a lot of things going for it that signal to me that it could do exceptionally well at Eurovision. Firstly, it's fucking crazy. And as we've seen most notably in recent years, the televote loves batshit crazy. And he is, you know, he's got the charisma, he's got the uniqueness, he's got the nerve, he's got the talent to keep an audience of nearly 200 million people engaged. On top of that, the production is genius because it manages to weave in distinctly Greek melodies, but it filters them through this like retro video game style sound. And the song keeps on doing these unexpected little tricks and twists and it's always grabbing your attention with the production. Now we've seen entries like, you know, Baby Lasagna, Tommy Cash, and Karia lean into chaotic attention-grabbing elements too, whether through, you know, the interesting lyrics or outrageous stagings or unforgettable vocal moments. They're all designed to really stand out. But as we know, those types of entries often struggled to win over the jury. So what I really appreciate here is that the song takes a really smart turn in the bridge. Everything strips back for a moment and Achilles gets to show off his raw vocal ability. It's a clear nod to the juries that beneath the spectacle and creativity, he's actually got some, he's got some goodies for them to latch onto. But the question is, will that be enough at the end of the day? I don't know, but all I can say is the televote will undeniably eat this shit up. And if it's paired with staging that is outlandish as the song itself, it should do quite well. Okay, Serbia, you're gonna get me in trouble with this one because you chose something interesting for your selection. Serbia's selection this year is pretty weak overall, if I'm being real. But the song that would likely do best at Eurovision is also the one that just so happens to be the most controversial contender of this season. That might change the second Israel releases their entry, but for now, that is the case. And the song is called, deep breath, Yugoslavia.
Lagano sve je u redu. Jugoslavija smo ti, razorit tišina, svetlost i silina, ljubav sam ti dala, Jugoslavija.
Let's talk about the sonic quality before we dive into those lyrics. The song is like a dark cascada bop if she was Serbian or from like the Balkans. It starts with deep bass pulses and atmospheric synths that create an addicting and mysterious quality, followed by a spiritual build that takes us to the chorus where her vocals absolutely soar. In the chorus, her voice is met with these almost creepy, highly reverbed backing vocals that hook you in, making it feel haunting, expensive, and highly unsettling. Slightly unsettling. Not highly, slightly. The production is slick. New layers keep being added to the mix, building to a final chorus that will have you twerking on the dance floor in Belgrade till 3 a.m. But although anyone with ears can tell you that the song is high quality sonically, there are strong opinions about the lyrics. And before anyone from the region starts shitting on me for explaining the controversy, which I'm sure they will do no matter what, I'm not stating my own opinion here. That's for another video. I'm just highlighting why some members of the Eurovision fandom claim that this song may be inappropriate for the contest. Not sharing my opinion, sharing how some people feel. So let's address this massive pink polka dotted elephant in the room. The song is about a relationship where the couple has their differences, just as the regions that made up Yugoslavia. But despite this, Xenia sings lyrics like Yugoslavia is you and me, don't destroy, unite. Making the case to her partner that despite their differences, they should stay together, united against forces of destruction, which is ultimately what led to the dissolution of Yugoslavia. So yeah, it's about a relationship as complicated as a multi-ethnic socialist federation that attempted to solve centuries of ethnic tension by simply telling everyone that they were a Yugoslav now, which was a strategy that worked perfectly up until it absolutely catastrophically didn't. But to some, they believe it's, glorifying the reunification of Yugoslavia, a nation that ended in a violent breakup, NATO intervention, genocide, ethno-nationalism, displacement, and total economic collapse, by using it as a metaphor in a song that suggests that staying united is the best outcome. No matter where you land on whether this song is appropriate or not for Eurovision, the reality is, the 150 million people watching Eurovision won't know the intricacies of the potential political undertones related to the song, if there are intended political undertones that could be dissected. Don't sue me, don't sue me. But they do know the word Yugoslavia. So on top of the fact that this is a sonic fever dream, it may also give some viewers a massive recognition high, or, a sense of nostalgia that may find some people finding this song to be like oddly adorable or even quirky for Serbia to sing about. So yeah, I could see this doing quite well for Serbia. Latvia. Now, Latvians hate me because over the years I have been really harsh when it comes to their entries at Eurovision.
Latvia has just selected their song for Eurovision, and boy, oh boy. As a reminder, Latvia hasn't been in the finals at Eurovision for over 7 years, and it looks like things aren't going to change because this is just that bad. Overall, I don't blame Latvians for voting for this because their national selection had literally 0 good options, and the country just needs to rethink how they're approaching Eurovision because over the last decade, they've overall been the worst performing country at the contest.
Listen, it's because I want what's best for them. I'm like that like overly, harsh parent that's basically scorning their child and be like, do better, because I know that they can. I see the potential. And honestly, I like picking on them because I think it's really fun. Like they've started like these interesting wars with me on like Twitter or, Instagram or whatever it may be. And I think it's just, I don't know why. I feel like we have like a funny little playful, like I'm kind of like attracted to this relationship that I have with them. What the fuck is wrong with me? I need to go to therapy. Thank God I'm in a relationship, because if I wasn't, I would go for like the most toxic one. Anyways, here we are again though, in a national final with songs that are more boring than Latvia's 2023 entry, and that is a tough thing to accomplish. Oh yeah, I'll go there. When you disappoint me, I will verbally abuse you until you get your shit together. I better sleep with one eye open, because these Latvians are, they're gonna come for me. Okay, but I must admit, even though these songs are weak again, shocker, I have to give credit where credit is due. And the organizers of this Latvian national final, they have been creating these stagings that are some of the best I've seen from across Europe over the years. And with that being said, the song that I think has the best shot at Eurovision from Latvia isn't necessarily a sonic gem, but the staging is an 11 out of 10. And it's Kwalifikacje with Te Un Tagad. Nailed it. Listen, the song is nice. It's inoffensive, she's a good singer, she's a convincing performer, it's fine. I can deal with it. But the staging draws me in. I don't know how they do it. It's like we're watching a high budget music video, but this has to be one of the strongest staging concepts of the national final season that we've seen so far. Probably that we will see this year. And because it's so visually immersive, despite the fact that the song is just fine, I think that this would absolutely sail through to the final. Now, if Latvia can pair a song that is as good as their stagings from the national final this year for next year, they will be a force to be reckoned with. But until then, Latvia, I will shit on you. Yeah. I need something interesting in my life. I need like a beef. And to like have a beef with like a full-on country, like that's the type of drama that I aspire to have. Let's get into Portugal. Portugal's interesting here, because I believe it's like now 17 artists that have signed a joint statement basically saying that they will not compete at Eurovision if they win their national final because of Israel's inclusion. Which leaves us with like maybe like 1 or 2 acts that would actually go to Vienna to compete and represent Portugal. But the act that would likely give Portugal their best result out of the bunch is one of the ones that has refused to partake at Eurovision. And it's Dinis Moda with Jure? Question mark pronunciation. I don't speak Portuguese or any other language because I'm a dumb Canadian. But it's worth noting that maybe along with Norway, this is still the only other one that I think that is on this list that I'm not confident would even qualify for the final at Eurovision, despite it being the best that Portugal clearly has to offer. The song is like many Portuguese entries, you know, minimalistic production, mid-tempo. With that being said, it's an easy listening experience, which also translates to safe. And at Eurovision, once again, playing it safe is the enemy of success. There's no memorable hook, there's no climax, there's no momentum. A Eurovision song shouldn't be an easy listening experience. Is Tattoo an easy listening experience? Is Wasted Love an easy listening experience? The Code, Toy, Arcade, no! The production is either layered and complex. The song may take confusing twists and turns, or in the case of Arcade, you know, it may evoke a really strong, deep, heavy emotion. But here we have just a decent song that I feel like I could honestly hear on the streets of Lisbon, like from a busker, and for that reason alone, I'm not too confident in Portugal's ability to end up on the left-hand side of the scoreboard. I don't even know if this will qualify. Now, some countries don't have all of the songs in their national finals released yet, but I'll still share my favorites in terms of the ones that have been put out so far. So let's get to Austria. With Austria, don't expect a back-to-back win this year because the lineup it's looking rough. But if we're looking for a horse to bet on, I'm gonna say that Kayla Christine's Ich Brenn, whatever it is, that is currently the only one, that is the only horse in this stable right now that is not putting me to sleep. When I say her vocals are doing heavy lifting, I'm not talking about like carrying a few groceries heavy lifting. I'm talking world-class sumo wrestler, Olympic level deadlift energy from her voice in those titanium set of lungs. The range is Celine Dion level. The rasp is giving Anastasia. Those long sustained belts are a physical feat of endurance that the jury would reward. But the production is dated. It's giving like late 90s, early 2000s cinematic pop rock. On top of that, my main problem is that the song kind of starts at like a 10 in terms of intensity, and it refuses to come down. Just punching us the whole fucking time. Just bam, 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 bam. And because it starts at the ceiling, essentially, there's nowhere left to go, which makes the climax at the end of the song have less of an impact. It feels less like a climax because it's just dampened by a lack of contrast throughout the song. And listen, this rule applies to everything. It applies to all aspects of life. Like dating apps, don't send the goodies right from the jump, because then where do you go from there? The mystery is dead, the tension is buried. Don't send those nudes right away. Okay, kind of kidding, but also kind of not, but either way, you get the point. This is easily one of the most technically demanding songs of the season, and it will be. When other songs get released, I'm confident this will be in the top 5. And if she can execute this on stage without her vocal cords absolutely exploding, it could do quite well with the juries in Vienna. Although, yeah, like, you know, Austria has no chance of winning the contest this year. It could pull off a good result. Okay, let's talk about Germany now. For Germany, Sarah Engels would be really different for the country, because I can't remember them sending anything like this ever in the history of the contest.
Stop denying, lying, no lying, lying no more. I don't want it, I don't need it, and I want it, you repeat it. I'm on fire, fire, you're a liar, liar. Like a vampire, you act and come out the night.
On the other hand, this is what Cyprus has basically been sending for like 15 years in a row. A hot girl singing a hot song with hot vocals and hot choreo. Hot, 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 hot. I mean, everything is hot. The song is literally called Fire. The production is slick, and her vocals, you know, especially at the end, I mean, holy crap. Like, these are some really impressive notes. The song even includes a pretty long instrumental break, which of course will be a moment for her to basically do some choreo. And listen, if she could do something impressive like what we saw with Chanel, this could do really well for Germany, and it could rack up support from both the televote and the jury, which is key. My only criticism is that although the beat is catchy and the production is slick, it's a little bare bones, and I think they need to zhuzh it up a little bit more, maybe with some more experimental sounds to just have it become more of that earworm that I feel like it really deserves to be. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
I was just about to post a video, and of course, at the very last second, Poland has now officially come out with all of their songs for the national final. So let's talk about it. So I am down to 2. I honestly, this is like Sophie's choice. I don't know which one would give Poland the better shot at Eurovision. So let's talk about these 2 and why I'm very conflicted. The first one let's talk about is Pray by Alicia.
Lay down all my struggle. I gotta just pray. Trickery ain't nothing new. Front page of your news, there ain't nothing you can do.
Now, if you've been a Eurovision fan for a while, you know who Alicia is. This was the girl who was actually going to represent Poland all the way back in 2020, but of course, COVID happening. However, she's got an like when I say unreal, I know I've probably said that, you know, a couple times in this video. I'm talking like really unreal Christina Aguilera level vocals. And her 2020 song, in my opinion, was definitely better than what this is this year. However, this song is still not bad, and you could definitely get a sense of the level of talent we're dealing with right from the jump of this song. With that being said, I just feel like this genre is like kind of experimental for Eurovision, and I don't feel like this song is like a 10 out of 10 for this genre. However, her vocals it's something that can't be ignored. The juries would definitely give this a good amount of points. But is this super radio friendly? Is this like the cream of the crop? Not real. I think her 2020 entry is much better in my opinion. Is this still a bop? Yeah. And then the other one is Anastasia with Wild Child.
Why you so serious? Tell me why you look so mysterious. I need your venom. I'm a wild child. Baby, I know you're a snake.
Now, this is why I'm confused. It's because this is a really good song for its genre. This is like close to a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. However, the reason why I'm conflicted is because I could see maybe Alicia's song doing better with the juries and then this one doing better with the televote, and maybe they'd kind of like around, like they may come in the same place or around the same place. And so, yeah, we don't know. Like, I just can't tell what would be better for the contest, but it's gotta be one of those 2. And that's that. That's my short take on Poland.
Well, that's it, folks. We've reached the end. As always, let me know your thoughts in terms of what songs in the different national finals you think would give the country the best shot of actually getting the best result at Eurovision. On top of that, too, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and, I'll save that for the next video. Anyways, we'll talk later. Bye.